Deputy O'Sullivan. And finally, Deputy Pat Casey.
Count Corla. First of all, can I say that we're fully supportive of the concept of the urban committees, and everybody here in the House acknowledges that is a requirement, and indeed an urgent requirement moving forward, that we get whatever legislation is required around this, we put it in place. Equally, I want to acknowledge the Minister making himself available over the last week in relation to the meeting before the committee meeting, and then meeting with you just the other day. And I think, in fairness, the meetings trashed out a lot of the issues that we have, and I think the Minister has taken them on board, and indeed I think the officials have taken them on board, and I think they now agree that this, as presented to us, is probably not workable. And it is a pity that it probably was rushed in at the last minute. I think if we had a time to do pre-legislative scrutiny on it, I think we could have ironed out a lot of the problems that we are faced here with today. And the fundamental problems I had with accepting what was put in front of us, and Bray has been mentioned, and I'll just explain it in relation to Bray, was the removal of the democratic process. So if I was one of the lucky 8 councillors to be elected to Bray County Council, but I wasn't one of the lucky 3 to be elected to this committee, I had no democratic say in how my local area plan for Bray was adopted. And that was my fundamental problem with what was being put before it. We have the whole issue and the whole complexity of proportionality. I agree with what the Deputy Naughton is saying in relation to that. This is going to be complex. No matter what we come up with this, it's very complex, and it's going to be very hard to find a balanced solution to it. But that's the piece of the debate that was missing, I think, around this. We have looked at it, and we've talked to you, and we've talked about, that we look at municipal districts, whether the municipal districts or the ward, whichever way it is, that they're the body that would, at the end of the day, sign off on this, not this select committee of a small group of 8 people. We have offered solutions in our contributions to you, Minister, and I think you have taken that on board. We equally had some concern around the make-up, especially with the 4 outside representatives that were being put on this committee, even though I was fully aware that they didn't have voting rights. I just felt that it was, in one way that we can adopt local area plans, and we can adopt county plans, and we can adopt regional plans without these outsiders involved. And I felt there wasn't really need for them to be there, because we can always call on them when we need them. So I had a concern about that. We had issues then over the whole sequencing, because the whole issue of sequencing has been driven by the National Planning Framework. First the regional plans, second the county plans after that, and then we had the local area plans, where this one is coming from the reverse side up. It's nearly coming from the ground and working the way up backwards. So we as a party, and indeed everybody in the House, Minister, is willing to work with you to solve this. We're willing to give you time to bring it in, because it is a complex issue, and it is needed, because we have the issues out there. We have, and it does away. The good proposal about this was it was doing away with boundaries. It was doing away with land grabbings. So we want to hold the good aspects of it. It was creating a plan for an area that would facilitate everybody. It's just the processes, the democratic processes, the structure of the committee, and the power that we were giving them. I had a major, and our party had a major concern with, Minister, but we are, in fairness, willing to work with you, and I acknowledge that you're willing to accept our amendments today, and we will facilitate any legislation you want to bring in relation to this. Thank you.